Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 103, One Weird World. Got some very interesting stories for today. We'll start off with some stories, not a bunch, but some random talking points, not enough to be the bulk of this episode. But, tell you the legend of Frank Nunziata. We're going to ask a simple question of who changed my light bulb. Then we'll do the talking points and podcast reactions, and then more stories if there's time, depending on how long this episode goes. So the first story I want to tell you, again, on my last market minutes, you could clearly tell I was literally made that video around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, expecting a call around 4:30 to buy a business, legitimately. And so, this business broker, Frank Nunziata, he's like, I see a listing on a business, biz buy or sell. And again, the only reason I'm trying to still do economic things is because people won't let any part of my life start. So, I see a listing on bizbuysell.com. I like the cash flow, I like the revenue. Sign the confidentiality. We hop on he calls me real quick on the phone. Again, I'm on that Mark Cuban shit. There's no need for a phone call. But, he's going to sell me, because that's what salespeople do. They just talk, and they love to hear the sound of their own fucking voice. So he calls me up, and again, he literally just says the numbers that I literally just read off the financial statement, so it gave me zero information. But then again, he starts getting convoluted with the add backs. Right? They have the business has X amount of cash flow, but we're going to show $30,000, $40,000 more of cash flow if you add back the general manager's wages. Which again, if they explain it like that, it makes sense. But again, are you going to go commandeer that $30,000 from the general manager that you've already paid him? So, and again, I don't care. The thing, on a personal level, the thing that I am looking for is maybe, again, I already own a restaurant and bar. I own CBD-enriched alcohol in the whole country. I own the rights to basically the foundations of science. And a slew of other things. All of my music portfolio, all of these IP videos. But the typical thing, so again, just I don't get why you would ever have, again, add back as just show me exactly what you're making, that's it. And so we have a first conversation, and again, he literally starts picking up, I say, add back as a write-off, and then he literally starts saying the word write-off. Because again, they pick up on logic, and then they start mimicking me. Not like in a rude way, just in it's more logical, it makes more sense, so I'm going to do things that make more sense. And it happens every time I talk to anybody, in anything. And so, the first time we talked, it was basically again, I'm not going to tell you the business, but he was asking, and I'll use real numbers because it's not violating the confidentiality, but the cash flow of the business was $277,000 after an add back of $40,000 for a general manager's wage. So true cash flow about $230,000. First time we talk on the phone, Frank is I'm just trying to get a feel of what he's looking for. Because again, in business, I watched Shark Tank 13 seasons running, and it's not for a business negotiation. It's not weird to chop a valuation in half or in a third and just see what they say. And I didn't even do that. It said $230 true cash flow. When we first talked on the phone, he's like, we're not going to take 180, 190, and then he starts 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, maybe. So that's kind of where we left it. And I was I wasn't super excited about the business. And again, I wasn't there's inflation. I have to make some sort of cash flow. I'm just going to fucking buy a house and just limit my expenditure that way. Because I don't want the risk or the headache of running a business. And on a personal level, I don't need to be 100% absentee. I should be. I should never have to start a new business again. But if I could get a business that I have to spend 20 hours a week, go there, do some payroll, say hey to everybody, I wouldn't mind doing that. Because again, I do nothing all day besides this shit. And it pays me nothing. So I wouldn't be against that, again, to take my cash flow to $20,000 a month of income. As opposed to living on $2,800 a month. And again, I was break even, now inflation's going up and I just can't afford anything. So that was really my thought there. We get off the phone and I'm thinking about it again, vetting other businesses, looking at other performance financial statements. And I was like, okay, this business isn't too bad. Let's make an offer on here. So I decided to make an offer. I said, hey, I'll offer you $200,000 based on, again, the first conversation we had. And literally the second, we're gonna have it was literally like an hour and a half after that last market minutes video. So the second conversation goes something to the effect of, he calls me up again, literally rattles off the same numbers that he had just sent me in an email. And again, the main thing that I want is, again, it doesn't have to be a stable employee base like everybody, but just one or two key employees, one or two general managers, or just solid employees that could be promoted to a general manager. Because again, if two people run the business and I buy it, well, now I'm down an employee instantly. And I've never really ran a restaurant. Like I said, I'm a partner, I'm the non-operating partner. But I'm just trying to figure out how this shit runs. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm investing or trying to buy. And he immediately just gets like offended at something. I can't even, the whole call is outside, it's recorded. And I don't even know what he's offended at, because again, he's like, well, he said, the next thing to do is to meet the owners and walk through. Well, before he says this, he goes, you're not going to meet the employees. And I'm like, well, the crux of what's going to make me say, here is the cash flow offer, here's exactly what you want, is again, I can see a clear picture of the management structure. And the first thing he says is, you're not going to meet the employees. I'm just like, what? And you can tell it's just a shitty sales tactic. Like, it's just like, I would never buy under those pretenses. But then he's like, we would never take $200,000. And I was like, well, counter me back. And at this point in the conversation, it's already divulged into like, the dude's like getting offended. He insulted my other fucking business. Like, oh, don't you own something else? I talked to so many people. And I have no idea what's offending this guy at this point. I'm calling somebody to try to buy a business. He's a business broker, allegedly. He's got like 6 or 7 shitty fucking listings. So not doing too many big deals out there, Frank. Yeah, I said fuck again. If you swear around old people, he literally says, don't swear at me. I'm not swearing at him. I'm swearing. It's like I need to know if you have a stable employee base or one stable employee, and then I buy your business, and you won't give me a straight answer. Like, what the fuck? Again, nobody has ever said fuck or any swear words on a business negotiation, except for all of them. And so they were asking $300,000, and it's like, first conversation, $200,000 wasn't an absolute no. Dude didn't ask for a letter, and again, that's where we agree on a purchase price. He says there's not even an offer on the table after I sent him an offer. Hey, I'll give you $200,000. That was in my initial email. Picks up the second phone call. Doesn't counter-offer me. Doesn't even give me a response. He literally just gets offended. Literally just gets fucking offended. I have literally no understanding as to why. 230 true cash flow, 200 off, 100,000 offer. Only asking $299 on the listing, and not a growth business. Is something that's been operating for 20 years. Not gonna give you any more information. Just mind fucked. Absolutely mind-fucked. From my 4-person family to a war, insurrection, pandemic, trying to spend $250,000. Again, I would have gone up to 230, 250. It's just, I'm not going to say this, I'm not going to overpay because Frank is a great sales guy. This is just the weirdest fucking shit ever. So apparently not buying a business anymore, because again, if you try to spend $250,000 with somebody, they're going to get offended that they won't answer your questions directly about the management. And therefore again, is Brad the scapegoat? Yes, I am. So what do? We just hang up the phone. That's what he did. So I was even considering going to the actual business that I was going to buy and talking to the current owners, not to repurchase the thing, but just to let them know, hey, the business broker that you have wouldn't even, and they're like urgently trying to retire. And it's just like, again, Frank Nunziata doesn't want me to swear at him, dude. Go suck a fucking dick. And again, one day, you don't know who I am, man. One day you will. And you don't want to hear fuck you. Well, you say you treat me like that, you go into history one day. So, good job, Frank Nunziata. And I'm not buying your business. And to anyone, and to the business that is, you should get a new fucking business broker yesterday. So, now another wonderful story. So now we're going to play a game called Who Changed My Light Bulb? So, again, said I live on $2,800 a month. I live in the same inflationary environment you do, dilutionary environment you do, excuse me. And so, if you've ever been under financial stress on any level, at any personal level, you don't forget about it. You can't. It's the only thing you think about all the fucking time. You owe somebody some money, you're going to think about it 100% of the time. You're under financial stress, you're going to know how much toilet paper I have, how many paper towels I have, how much money is in my bank account, every penny in my stock account, every penny in my crypto portfolio, how many markers I have left, how much I spend on food every day, how many light bulbs I have, how many, whatever. And again, this is true for anybody. When you're under financial stress, you just think about every investment bias. Every dollar you spend, it's better come back, or it's better be safe, or it's better not be bleeding out from under you. Feel like you're just falling away into the abyss. And I've been under financial stress, not my whole life, but since I got scapegoated in late teenage years. So I know exactly how many light bulbs I have. And this empty box was still in my utility closet the other day. So I live alone. I have never had a guest in this apartment. Well, my mom and my dad, or my dad hasn't even been in the apartment. My mom's been here once. Nobody's been in this apartment besides me. The only one with a key. And the other day, because I'm under financial stress, I have 3 light bulbs in I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment in my main bathroom that I use. And so 2 of the light bulbs went out. And they were like the old orangey glow light bulbs. And these ones are white light, daylight, 500K, 60-watt replacement, uses only 9.5 watts. But, so I in my bathroom I go from 3 orange luminescent light bulbs to 2 bright white ones and 1 orange one. And then yesterday morning, I wake up, and guess what? There is no longer a light bulb in this box, and it's in my bathroom. Right now today, I have 3 white light bulbs, and I did not change it. Nobody else has been in here. So now we have the third in the past 6 months, and I'm not sitting here thinking aliens are coming in all of the fucking time. They definitely come into my place and change my light bulb, but I don't care. I don't even like the word aliens. Species mates. Solar system friends. But not a single fucking chance a human being could break and enter my apartment without me noticing while I'm sleeping in it and change a light bulb. But somebody else can. But again, it's like I don't care. There's bugs in the woods, there's aliens in space. I'm a human being, I want to interact with my fucking species. So at the same time I can't spend $250,000 buying a business, I have legitimate aliens changing my light bulbs. This is one weird fucking world. We got a war going on. We just had an insurrection, a pandemic, and then a war, while aliens are changing my light bulbs. And they're coming into your houses and too, and certainly the government officials. I've heard you confirm that publicly. So, what is humanity doing at this point? Like, I gave the lecture on the USSR, and I'm just trying to be understanding and be a historian, be a diplomat. But why the fuck can't human beings just stop doing war entirely? Right? Totally get it. Russia doesn't want a NATO country backed up to his borders because of threats. And China doesn't want this because of threats. Well, why don't we just stop fucking threatening and killing each other? Why the fuck don't we do that? Everyone just fucking stop it. Oh, that's right, because we can't behave. We're a bunch of hairy monkeys. Well, pretty hairless, but pretty hairy sometimes. And we just like war and death, and we just like to sit there on a personal level and say, not my fucking responsibility. History happens every single day. I was watching, now getting into some of the talking points, but just off the top of my head, there was well, I'll do the Lex Friedman one first. I didn't watch any podcasts through and through this time. But Lex number 268 with Robert Proctor, and they're talking about Nazis and Nazi Germany. And what was the first thing I was going to say? Robert Proctor says that the Holocaust wasn't the Holocaust until after. Yeah, I wonder in 5 to 10 years, when people know that I've proved unified the natural sciences, with first principle proof, it is what it is the foundation of every sentence out of your mouth, and has come out of your mouth and ever will come out of your mouth. And that was done 6 years ago on people's desks. Done. On your fucking desk. But actions have no consequences. We take no responsibility for actions. And we get insurrection, pandemic, war, no one cares. But again, this is truly the lowest point in human history. And it's because people stagnate, people do not change, and it can't fucking stop. Only a couple points from this. One, how do scientists become Nazified? They're apologists, right? Values. And so, right, a lot of people won't, in the Muslim tradition, in Saudi Arabia, or more Iran, or more extremist countries, they might not be the ones suicide bombing, but they might be a little more understanding or accepting of why. And so, how do scientists become Nazified in Germany? Well, they're apologists. They sympathize with the value of what's going on, even if they're not going to implement the action themselves. Sentiment produces values that the individuals learn. And then they talk about Hitler's art in being a raving lunatic versus being we shouldn't pick, like, how could a raving lunatic even attempt art? And Robert Proctor's like, Hitler's art isn't that bad in comparison to all the other people who attempted art, but he's not a raving lunatic or a beautiful individual. He's an insulated child. That is what the characteristic is, and it's 100% of all people that behave like that. 100%. Still not 99.9, 100. And then this is another fucking stupid things. And then Robert Proctor asks a question, and this is where I shut off the thing. He says, what makes fish move? And then he goes, most Americans would say it's their muscles or their skeletal system. And he's like, no, it's the currents. So therefore, fish can't swim. Fish have no physical independence where they can move. He's talking about, migration of fish using the currents of the water, which they certainly fucking do, but they certainly use their fucking fins and skeletal structure to move, swim. So, but again, this is just another edgy fucking historian weirdo. I can instant flashback to be a student, having some weird underdeveloped teacher ask me what makes fish move and give me the wrong answer as some sort of like philosophical make you think type of moment. Flatly fucking wrong. They can use their fucking skeletal muscular system to move. And they certainly use currents to move faster. So, that's where I shut off that conversation. So the only other podcast I watched for a little bit was the Dark Horse number 117. Again, holy fuck, these people are weirdos. And so if you've ever learned from me, if you've benefited from me in any way, if you respect me in any way, please never support Brett Weinstein or Heather Hang on anything. Just literally fucking anything. And the instant, your lawyers versus our lawyers, the instant that I have human rights, you will get that. You will get that with the fucking quickness, you fat cunt, Heather. Hate that bitch. She's the most illiterate person I've ever heard. She starts off, again, we start off the podcast with, we are very choosy about the products we endorse. Heather Hang, and then again plugs Relief Band. It says it relieves nausea. There was a 0% chance Relief Band relieves nausea. Right, you can have, and again, I've talked about this again, the shitty marketing claim that certainly doesn't actually work, but I wouldn't really care personally, like Copper Fit. This over your knee helps this or that. I haven't looked into the Copper Fit specifically, but just shitty back pain products that the FDA have approved. Stuff like that, like I said, where it's not doing damage, but it's certainly not efficient to the claims they are making. And so, Relief Bands relieves nausea, fuck no. Just a hard fuck no. But then Heather's big word today, again, she sucks Brett's dick literally. Brett sucks Eric Weinstein's dick, probably figuratively, maybe literally. Who knows with these weird fucking people. But they all concoct word salad. They all concoct weird logical structures because they're stealing from Brad, and they just don't care about that because again they're part of the group. So torture the scapegoat, who cares? Violate his right, who cares? Treat our young men, sons that torture somebody, as long as enough people are involved, no one cares. Steal from them, no one cares. And the reason I get mad at this is because they are stealing from me. They are lying about scientific progress, and then they go do these things. Right? Like I said, you spread misinformation or disinformation, unless it's imminently inciting violence, I really don't care. But when you're stealing from me and then lying about it and then taunting and antagonizing me behind the fucking camera, bitch, Fat Heather, you can get it too, bitch. Any day you motherfucking want it. But her big word this week was entrain, right? You train something. You don't entrain anything. But she says, paraphrase, the war in Ukraine is taking away attention from the COVID entrainment. Entrainment is not a word, Heather. Shut your fucking mouth. Lay on your back with your puss out, with your hairy puss sitting there. Oh, now I want to talk. Well, you better go learn something, you dumb bitch. And if you're not smart enough to do so, fuck off. But yeah. She also says, it's more concerning people have forgotten about COVID oppression now that there is a war. Wearing a mask versus making Molotov cocktails in preschool. Yep, she's literally talking about, she's walking through a jardin. And she doesn't know, and that she hasn't gone back to in a while because people wearing masks outside is so offensive. Again, I'm no longer wearing a mask inside just because of transmissions, the cases are through the floor. But on a personal level, it's a minor inconvenience versus a minor inconvenience. I would rather, at my level of productivity, be sick 0% of the time. So if one modest precautionary measure gives me 12 hours, 24 hours, 36, 72 hours without any sickness, I'm going to do so. And so it's funny seeing them be like, I had a mild case for 5 days. Yeah, because you're not productive, so that time doesn't matter to you. You're just going to sit there and watch TV and enjoy your time as a hairy monkey. Well, actually get shit done. I actually got shit to fucking do. And so, but see, again, this is the level of maturity. Comparing slight biological decency is comparable to literally war. Children making Molotov cocktails and using guns to defend themselves. But this is the American mindset. And again, she's like, oh, we can still call ourselves liberals. We can still, and she's talking about the decency and the greatness and the Portland's such a city that's not inviting because of the mandates. And she's comparing her not being able to walk through a garden in the direction she wants to, which is very typical for a garden or for a museum or an exhibit, is to walk one way through. It's a set up exhibition exhibit. So this is again, fuck that stupid bitch. What we get, and then she says the apartheid-like measures. Yeah, yep. COVID mask wearing is like the apartheid. It's again, maybe it's worse than World War II. Maybe it's worse than World War I. Maybe it's worse than every world war combined ever. And just anything that offends Heather Hang's dirty puss is just the worst thing in the world. And so she said, still calling themselves liberal as like a good thing. As like, we can still stick to an ideology because we're fucking fascists. We are fucking incompetent scientist fascists. And we're just so fucking stupid. That's the part I really want to hone in on for you, Heather. You're retarded. You're the dumbest bitch I have ever had the displeasure of hearing. Entrainment's not a word. Go speak correctly, you dumb cunt. So that was really all for the Dark Horse. I shut that off after that. And again, I just watch this stuff to get content. You gotta keep working. A Russian billionaire offers $1 million for Vlad's head and is highly upvoted on Reddit. And a U.S. senator is calling for an assassination. For which one would have wrote it down and just don't remember who. I'm not super up to date on all the senators. But yeah, I want to focus on the Reddit sentiment of that. Yet all of those Redditors are going to upvote again death. That's a call to death. Most of those people are going to be vegan because they don't want to see a cow slaughtered. But they're going to upvote death because values. But then they're also going to downvote me and ban me from every subreddit when education limits violence. That is the only solution. So it's the only solution, whether you're talking about gangbangers locally or war globally. Education. Do I think clearly I could not do anything to stop anything? But would the chances of invasion go down profoundly if 6 years ago the sentiment of the species changed? Absolutely without question. 20 years ago, absolutely without question. We've seen the Afghanistan war, we've seen the Iraqi war, we've seen insurrection, pandemic, and now the Russia-Ukraine war. And so again, just keep stagnating science and then upvote it on Reddit like you guys would do dick fucking anything. And again, more death will be caused in the United States of America from not legalizing cannabis today than COVID combined. Just globally, 6 million deaths globally just passed today. But no, we're not going to do anything that will actually work. We just won't feel responsibility for anything. So, next thing, completely just random talking points now. We have lawyers wouldn't represent clearly stolen property against a major record label. Rick Beato, and he did a video about a Dua Lipa cover band song, or not cover band, a Dua Lipa song, and there was some other, I forget the other band's name. Basically, the video was like, does this song sound similar enough in chord progression to be a copyright claim? And watching the video, yes, it sounded exactly the same to me, Mr. Rick Beato. So, but I want to focus on that. He said lawyers wouldn't represent clients against big time record labels. So again, we have Michael Jameson, we have William Willis, and all of these other wonderful lawyers that I have interacted with, and law people that I've interacted with. The lawyers wouldn't represent clearly stolen property against a major record label. So maybe they're just bandwagon fans. They just go wherever the wind blows them. They just do wherever the money is. Again, lawyers are the scummiest trashiest, worthless fucking people, which is pretty much the entire human population. I mean, let's be fucking honest. At this point, it's everybody's responsible. But again, everyone's entitled right to legal representation unless you steal from a big enough person, then, or a big enough person steals from you. And in logical correction, I said Stockholm. I do not have reverse Stockholm syndrome. That would be when the people abusing me get an affection for me, and I'm just fucking with them dead. So, you should not have reverse Stockholm syndrome for me. It's not going to be reciprocated. Besides fucking execution for treason and die in fucking prison for substantial and ongoing fraud. And again, multiple wars, insurrection, pandemic, and just nobody feels responsibility for anything. But I think it's an atrocious practice of law to not represent a small-time client against a big firm because they have so many in-house counsels and blah blah blah. You steal from me, fuck you. Whole team is right here. But I got a copyright claim on my YouTube. It's from Kelly Clarkson, Kelly Clarkson's management or record label. But I did a cover of the song Breakaway. Kelly Clarkson. I legitimately have cried several times listening to that song. I cover songs that I really, really fucking enjoy. And again, not cry like sad, but cry as in like inspired. This makes me feel good. This makes me think. Like a good kind of inspirational tears. And then I got a copyright claim by one of your fucking managers or something. And again, I didn't even look up the video. Most of my songs have less than fucking 10 fucking views. 10. Right, there's an Allstate commercial right now. This video is going to get tens and tens of views. I fucking wish. That would be amazing. But I literally just responded to the copyright claim. You know, I wrote this song from scratch with no reference to the original chord progression, which is completely true, and the timbre, the scent of tone, the type of tone, the physical structure that produces a unique sound, regardless of key, the timbre was different, and the copyright claim was dropped in 2 days. My response was a 2-sentence response. But again, clearly I'm not a law guy either. Obviously I am, but it just people will not respect anything I've ever done in my entire fucking life. Kid shipping in the 1920s, LOL. Watched a Michael Franzese episode about the Roaring '20s, and he showed pictures of like, you could legitimately mail your child to the United States Postal Service. I fucking lost it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Yeah, Susan and Bill are gonna go down to Florida. Oh, do we want to drive our kid, or are we gonna ship him down there a couple days earlier? Give us a little easier trip. So I think kid shipping is fucking hilarious. And they show little babies, like literally just sitting there all chunky bobs, sitting there in like mail carrying bags. Fucking hilarious. Another cohesion from Russia, division from COVID, Annal Spirits number 256. Why? Because again, the values of children, we can pretty much assess at the global scale that war is bad, but biological mandates, those affect our freedom. So we're not so sure because we're so stupid and we're children, so that's why there's division from COVID and cohesion from Russia. It's because there's no values. And it's children trying to grow up and have values, but they don't have any. So that's why. Same thing every week, every day. And then last talking point and one final story. Rick Nash's number is being retired. Saw him on TV again. I'll do whatever I can for my team and my community and my sport and my family. Again, he's somewhere through my extended family somewhere. But I referenced him going to a wedding, and I don't think I told you the story. Not much of a story. But my brother Brian, after, again, I think this was the wedding when I told you one of my other cousins didn't go to go watch a sports game, like the NCAA championship or something. But Rick's standing out there after the game, and my brother goes up to him. My brother, again, he's very sociable. He'll approach anybody. And so goes up to Rick, like, oh, hey, trying to chat him up. And my brother was just like, I wasn't directly in the conversation, but my brother Brian was like, nah, he was not too excited about talking to a random. And so that's really the whole fucking story. But my brother approached Rick Nash to try to just talk to him a little bit. He was very, very off-putting to my brother. Again, just like, don't talk to me type of way. Yet, Rick Nash, I too hope to be from Columbus. I don't even know if you're from Columbus, but I hope to leave a lasting impact on the city of Columbus, Ohio. I'm just going to keep trying to do my best. I'm going to try not to swear at the legend of Frank Nunziata by literally aliens changing my light bulbs. So now they've changed my light bulbs, stole my carrots, and cut an onion. They've done those 3 things in the past 6 months, bona fide. So, what a fucking weird world. Aliens changing my light bulbs while we have a war going on. While literally everyone is lying about the progress of science, and the way to limit violence is education, period. Thank you for watching Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 103, One Weird World.